I'm Haley Stein, and I'm a current fourth-year veterinary student at UC Davis, and I am tracking livestock in my fourth year. I actually grew up in the suburbs outside of New York City, so I had never really interacted with any food-producing animals, farmers really at all. The only animals that I grew up with were really dogs and cats, but I always knew that I loved medicine, I loved science, and I loved animals. So when I went to undergrad, I actually went to school in Vermont, and they had a small milking dairy herd there, and I joined a program that allowed students to run the dairy and basically learn everything, the ins and outs, how to milk a cow, to how to make management decisions of, what things we need to buy for the farm and how to make things more profitable. And that experience really got me excited about food animal medicine and being involved in the animal agriculture industry in general, which is not something that I ever thought I would ever be interested in as a kid. So after that, I decided to apply to vet school, and I ended up here at UC Davis, and there is a lot of animal agriculture and agriculture in general in California, so I have been really lucky to be able to be part of a lot of that. And one of the big things that has kept me interested is actually working here at the dairy on campus and being able to see, everything from when a calf is born to a cow getting milked, and knowing that a lot of people are going to be able to drink that milk and, get nutrition from what these cows are able to produce is just a really amazing thing to be involved in. And now in a few months I'll be a veterinarian, and I'll be able to go out into the field and make an impact on these animals and these people who are making the food that is feeding, my family and all the people here. So it's really just an amazing thing to be able to be part of that section of veterinary medicine and seeing the impact that you can make in the animal agriculture world. I think the biggest advice that I would give to any high school student, or even, myself in the past, would be if you're interested and you're even thinking about working in veterinary medicine or in food animal medicine at all, go for it. Just try it out. Get in touch with a local veterinarian or a local farmer even, and just get out there and see what it's like, because the only way to really know and to gain that experience is to go and do it. And so I think the really special thing about food animal medicine is that there's not enough of us in the US and in the world in general. And so I think veterinarians who are practicing that kind of medicine, as well as producers who are working with those vets, they want more of us. And so if you have any kind of interest at all and you're able to get out there and just get your foot in the door, the world of possibilities will just open for you, and it'll be amazing. I think the biggest thing too is, even though if you didn't grow up working with them, or you don't really know anything about food production or animal production or anything like that, but you're interested in it, the best way to do it is just to get out there and experience it. And I think if you have a hardworking attitude, you're willing to get a little bit dirty, because you definitely will have to get dirty working on a farm, and you want to do it, and you have a passion for animals, you have a passion for food, you like science, those are all things that go into being a great food animal veterinarian. So I think if you have any interest at all, even if you think you just want to be a veterinarian for cats or dogs or horses or anything like that, still getting your foot in the door and going and seeing what this production is like. You never know if you'll have an interest in it, and maybe you'll step on that 3,000 cow dairy and also fall in love with it, even though you never expected to be anywhere like that before. So yeah, I think the biggest advice is just get in touch with somebody. It's totally fine to just reach out and email or call a place that you think maybe might be interesting to you, and get out there and see what it's like. And I think the biggest impacts that a lot of my experiences have made have come from working with producers and going out and seeing what actual farms are like. So I would also advise, if you're interested in going into food animal medicine, that you reach out to farmers of any type and just ask them if you can just come shadow, just come see what they do all day, you know, see where your food is coming from and take it from there. You know, you never know what will be interesting to you, and there's so much out there that we don't even know about. So just getting out there and trying to experience as much as you can. Experience that I had after my first year of vet school was I did an externship down in the Central Valley of California, where there are a lot of dairy farms and very big dairy farms, much different than what I experienced as an undergrad in Vermont. And it was a mixed animal practice, and they did a lot of large animal work in the dairy industry, so I was really excited to, you know, kind of broaden my horizons and see what I could experience down there. And the first day when I stepped onto my first 3,000 cow dairy, I was totally taken aback. It was something completely different than anything I had ever experienced in my life, but I immediately felt at home and like this was the place that I needed to be. And working with all of those vets down there, they really inspired me. None of them came from a farming background at all, and so seeing them coming from, you know, very similar circumstances to where I grew up to now working on these giant farms and really making a huge impact was just amazing for me to see. So they've kind of helped me to gain confidence for the fact that even though I didn't grow up with farming, this is definitely an industry that I can still be accepted in and work in and make a huge impact in. And so that experience kind of got the ball rolling for me, where I felt like, you know what, I feel really confident on dairies. I really want to be involved in this kind of work and work in food animal medicine specifically. And so after that, I've spent a lot more time, done a lot more externships at different various types of production systems, and it's only increased my confidence that I love doing this. I love being part of food animal medicine and just animal agriculture in general. And yeah, that was a really big experience that has impacted my professional career goals in the future. So there's a lot of challenges in veterinary medicine in general, but specifically for my journey so far, I think the biggest struggle that I've had is just my confidence and the imposter syndrome that comes from being a veterinarian in general, but especially being a younger woman who came from the suburbs. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult when I show up to a dairy or a larger farm and they kind of ask me what my background is, and I tell them, I'm from the suburbs, and they're like, oh, this is a city kid, coming out here to do my work. But that's been a little bit of a struggle for me to, try to remind myself and have confidence that I know my stuff, I'm learning, I want to be here, and that's, like the biggest thing that I can do to push myself further. So I really think the biggest struggle that I've had is just the confidence and the imposter syndrome. And some of the things that have helped me through that is the mentorship that I've been able to get. A lot of the vets, like I've mentioned, that I've worked with have not also come from a farming background, so being able to see what they're able to do coming from their backgrounds has really helped me. And they've also kind of given me the confidence to say, this stuff, and you can do this, and you can still work in farming even though you didn't grow up in farming. And they've kind of showed me how when you go out to a new practice for the first time and you're meeting all the clients, you can really just show them that you're there to work hard, your stuff, just to get it done, and you'll gain their trust and their confidence in you. And I've definitely seen that, and I've started to encourage myself a little bit as well, to gain that confidence to be able to still be in this industry even though I didn't start off in it. And I think, you know, as I go on into my career, I hope that I can do the same for, you know, the younger generations and provide that mentorship. That way other people who don't come from farming backgrounds can still, you know, get into this industry, because it's a great thing to be part of, and I really do feel at home here, so it's nice to be able to finally gain a little bit of confidence in that. A lot of experiences that have really kind of showed me the impact that I and other veterinarians can make on the food animal industry and food animal medicine in general. One of the experiences that kind of sticks out for me is I was at an externship at a small practice in Vermont, and we went to this really small farm. Didn't milk very many cows, a lot different than here in California, but they had just recently put in a robot milking machine, and this farm is really small, and a lot of the farms in the area are not able to, you know, really stick around because they're smaller these days. But this farm had very lengthy discussions with the veterinarian that I was shadowing there about how they can continue to be productive into the future, and part of that was putting in this robot milking machine. So I was there. They had not had the milking machine for very long, but I was there with the veterinarian, and we were having these discussions with the producer of, you know, how can we use this to our advantage, and what are the best ways that we can make our business more profitable to, you know, keep our business in still in business today, even though it's a really small farm. And it was really kind of incredible to see how like receptive the producer was to what the veterinarian was saying. You know, like this vet was having such a large impact on this man and his family and his production and his dairy farm just by doing something as, you know, suggesting that they put in this new equipment to their farm. And they ended up being very productive after that, and were really pleased with the changes that they made. And it was just incredible because this idea came from their veterinarian, and now they're going to be able to be a productive farm like into the future. So I think things like that, where there's really close conversation between the producer and the veterinarian to come up with what's best for everyone involved, and in that way it's doing best for the animals as well as the food that they're producing. And another experience where I feel like I've also been able to make a large impact is actually here at the dairy on campus. I've been working here since my first year of vet school, and I've gotten really close with everybody who works here, and especially the herd manager, Maria. And so we've been able to have a lot of like really in-depth conversations about, you know, what her thoughts are on what's best for the farm. And sometimes I'll come up with things and be like, oh, we learned this in school, like what do you think about that? And it's been really cool to have those conversations with her, you know, like talking very closely with the producer to see what their goals are for the farm and what their goals are for the veterinarian's role on the farm as well. We've had a lot of discussions about that too, of, you know, like where do you want a vet to step in, and where do you feel is their place, and where is it like better if they kind of back off and, you know, let you take the reins and things like that, because it really is working as a team. And I think I've been able to learn that a lot, especially working here at the dairy has been a great experience for that. Just being part of this team of not just, you know, like the vet coming onto the farm and saying this is how you should do everything and then leaving, but making sure that they're making that big impact by being part of the team, being part of the farm's family, so that, you know, everyone can be more productive into the future.